Hey everybody, I've got a quote from, I think it's St. Augustine, possibly, one of the early church fathers, said that the church is a hospital for sinners and not a museum for saints. If you need to think about that for a minute, just pause the video. But it's profound to me because I've walked with the Lord now for, let's say, 11 years, give or take. And one of the things that really stands out to me, the closer I've come into being obedient to His will and doing what He wants, is how far short I fall every day. Which isn't really a laughing matter, but I guess there is some solace in the fact that we are broken and being mended in the process of being healed. If you take an axe to your leg when you slip cutting wood or something and you go right deep into the tissue with it, it's a deep cut. Now, deep cuts don't heal very quickly, and if you don't protect it and put antiseptic on it and stuff like that and cover it up, it's going to get infected. And basically, when we were sinners, when we were doing sin willingly before we met Christ, we were infecting the wound of sin. And when we come to Christ, He takes us where we meets us where we are, and He starts the healing process. For some people, that's a long time, you know. Maybe the wound was gangrenous, maybe things need to actually be kind of cut out, literally, you know, and you know, amputated. But nevertheless, once the healing process has begun, and the I suppose the closer you kind of understanding how the medicine works, at least you're on the road to recovery. And that's essentially where the Christian is at. You meet Christ usually in deep darkness, like I was, and He begins that healing process in you, changing things here, changing things there, making sure you understand that certain things are unacceptable in His eyes, and wanting you to completely repent of and get rid of it out of your life. But really where I'm going with this is, the more you understand about how holy God is, the more that you understand that you are worthless and wretched and forsaken without turning to Christ, and that He's your only hope for living a good life, a life with fruit in it, a life that actually has merit with eternal blessings, because none of it matters without Him. None of this matters. And the reason is because He shows us His holiness. He's our role model, and He gives us something to aspire to, even though we fall short. And His continual healing process in our lives, gradually as we mature and get older, is that the holiness that He bestows upon us, which is partly His amazing mercy and forgiveness, is that we incorporate that holiness into our lives, not for something that we can lay claim to, and you know, it's not by works we're saved, but the works of the Holy Spirit in our lives proves that we are saved, because he's working his work of holiness in our lives to bring us into his standard of perfection. But he's well aware that every day we fall short, and the person who is aware of holiness more and more as time goes on should at least realize just how far short they do fall from the standard of perfection, which shouldn't be cause for despair. It should be, I'm going to strive to stay as close to Christ as possible, because I cannot be trusted. I cannot do this on my own. I need his every move, his every word, his every bit of guidance through his Spirit in order to be pleasing to him and take on this life of holiness which he expects of us all, actually. So I just wanted to say that. Hopefully it's edifying, because there's liberation in knowing that we are sin sick, and that the body, when left to its own devices, the flesh will have its way. It needs to be disciplined and subdued and beaten almost into, through mortification, into submission. And there are various spiritual practices that God has laid out, like fasting and prayer and other things, like doing good works in the community and laying down your lives for other people and picking up your cross, that produce this kind of fruit in us that is holy. But left to our own devices, all of us would be lost forever. And so it's edifying in the sense that, and liberating in the sense that it's okay to know that you're not perfect and that you get it wrong. But it's not okay to glory in that, and it's not okay to ignore the call that God brings upon his chosen, those who he's selected and called, to not produce that kind of fruit in your life. And so we must strive for holiness even though we don't achieve it. I think that's basically what I'm saying. And the closer you come to holiness, the more you understand that you are a sinner in desperate need of grace. There are a lot of Christians out there who say, I'm no longer a sinner, I never sin, and all this kind of stuff. They are just so far from the truth. They've probably got the spirit of pride, which is the worst of all. Humility is simply just a recognition of the truth. And the truth is that we are all totally lost when we take our focus off Christ, because we're all wretched. And we all need continual guidance in our lives to reprove us and heal us and sanctify us, so that we can produce holy fruit and walk in the kind of power that Jesus wanted us to walk in. So I hope this has edified you, and God bless you.